we've not had the chance of speaking to the new president. And there's some history to this that we'll be getting to. But even before that, for those of you who are very interested in Rotary, I'm sure that you didn't know that it was formed as far back as February 1905 by one Paul Harris in Chicago in the USA. But it wasn't until 1921 that it actually touched the shores of Africa. In fact, precisely Joburg in April 1921. And you're wondering, when did it actually get to Ghana? It was in the 1950s, around 1956, 57. That is when it actually came to Ghana. And Ghana was the first English-speaking West African country that Rotary came to. And all these years, it's been about 117 years or so. Would you believe if I told you that all these years, we've never had a female president for Rotary International until this year, 1st of July, 2022. And I'm so honored to be seated right in front of the first female president of Rotary. She's here in Ghana visiting us, and she decided to pay us a visit here at TV3. She is Jennifer E. Jones, and she's here with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations. After what, 117 years?
It took a little while.
Unbelievable. What was everybody waiting for?
Well, you know, actually, the reality is that when it was formed, when our organization was formed, it was comprised of men.
Okay.
And it wasn't until 1987, and it literally took a Supreme Court ruling in the United States for women to be permitted to join our organization. Wow. And ever since then, we've been joining, and 25% of our organization is now women.
But you've been working towards becoming president then. I mean, in fact, the fact that we had to wait that long for women to become a part of it. I know that you served under various capacities even before emerging as president. You were what, vice president at a point?
I was vice president back a few years ago. But the reality is that women, having joined our organization, had to go through the same leadership journey that our male colleagues did. Yeah. And so to become the president of our organization, we didn't want to just put a woman into that spot. We had to earn our way into being in that spot, to serve as a club president, to serve as a district governor, taking care of a region, and then a larger region, and then to sit on our international board. And that's a prerequisite to becoming president.
And you played all those roles before eventually becoming?
Yes.
That must have been a long, time to wait. But of course, do your job as well in those various capacities. What did it mean to you knowing that you're working towards eventually making history as the first female president?
Well, when I joined a Rotary Club, my Rotary Club, I don't think that I ever for 1 minute ever dreamed that this would be a reality, to step into these shoes. I joined because I wanted to do service. I wanted to be in my community. I wanted to be with like-minded people, contributing to our community and to our world. And as I started to see that broaden, as more opportunities presented themselves, I started to see, an opportunity to make a bigger difference and to help inspire and motivate others to join us, to come along on this journey and to be part of our Rotary family.
Tell me about that story, about how you first heard of Rotary and, the process involved before eventually you became a member. I'd like to know that.
Well, it's interesting because, as I said, it took this Supreme Court ruling, but prior to that, I was actually a rookie radio reporter. And so, yes, exactly.
Okay.
So,
you want to give us like, just a bit of how you were on radio? So this is TV3 New Day.
It was
Jennifer.
The 80s. I had big hair and shoulder pads.
Really? You must have had a lot of fun. Was it fun then on radio?
It was. It was a great opportunity. And part of that is about how I learned about storytelling, which I'll talk about in a few minutes.
Okay.
But I was covering local Rotary Club meetings. And so I would show up, and all of the power brokers of our community would be there. They would be making announcements, different things. And I would be there with my trusty microphone and the only woman in the room. And so I was exposed to it. I understood it. I knew it. I respected it. And so then in 1996, when the local cable manager asked if I wanted to attend a meeting, I thought, you know what, I do. And so I walked into the room. I recognized some people, some members of my community I didn't know but really respected. I just felt like I found a home. And so it's been my home ever since.
Ever since. How many women were in that room?
To be honest, my club is very progressive, and at that point in time, I would say that we were gender parity. We were probably 50-50. It was a lot of retired school administrators who were women were in my club and took very seriously about putting the right practices into place and growing leadership, which was really big.
What was it about the club that made you stay? Because I know that there are people who might join clubs and along the line they'll fall off because they are not too sure if it aligns with their values, their aspirations, their goals. For you, you stayed from
1996
up until now.
Up until now.
What was that magic factor that kept you going in the club?
So it's exactly what I'm trying to share with our Rotary family right now. We need to make sure that our members are engaged, that they have meaningful things to do, meaningful responsibilities. And so when I joined, within a month, someone asked me to chair our club's largest fundraiser.
Already?
And it was a lobster fest for 1,000 people, 1,000 metric tons of lobster, a big event. And I thought, well, I don't know how to do this. And they said, you know what? We're not going to let you fail. We're going to give you this big responsibility, and we want to see what you can do with it. And because of that, I had something that really meant something. And when it was done, you know, I felt a sense of satisfaction, a sense of pride in being able to make a contribution. And then knowing the money we raised went into our community, went into projects in Ghana, as a matter of fact.
I see.
And so it really gave me an opportunity to understand how it affected me, and now how I want to convey that message to others, to take care of our members, to make sure that we give them meaningful responsibilities and that we take care of them. It's an important part.
So you were chair for your community club?
Yes.
And then what was your first national role before going international?
Well, sitting on our communications committee at our international headquarters would have been the first time I had a chance to integrate more with our international staff, with international members, and to help drive some policy of our organization. And that led within a relatively short period of time to overseeing our organization's rebranding. We really understood, we did some extensive research that the world didn't know enough about who we are and what we do. And so coming out with a rebranded logo and vision and mission of what it is that we do, a statement of who we are as individuals, helping our members to see that telling our stories is such a fundamental part of people understanding who we are.
That contributed definitely.
Yeah.
In all these roles, do you think that the vision and mission of Rotary has been really propagated out there for as many people as possible?
Well, that's a big part of what I'm doing right now. And the opportunity through the course of this one-year presidency to be able to go to different places in our world and showcase what we call our people of action, what they're doing, the meaningful, lasting, impactful contributions that they're doing through their projects. I'm traveling now and bringing along top-tier media, celebrities, social media influencers, notables, to help us amplify what it is that we're doing, because I do believe that more people need to understand what we do. And for many specific reasons, yes, because we want more people to join, but also to be exposed to us, so that when someone asks you to come to an event or perhaps support a project that we're doing, to understand the capacity that our organization offers to the world. This is a big part of why I'm here and why I'm actually visiting several locations around the world.
So you undertake a number of projects. It's not just one project that the Rotary Club undertakes. Is it determined by at the national level, international level, or maybe just the community level? How do you decide that we're going to support this community, we're going to undertake this project or that project?
Well, the best part is that we have 1.4 million members in more than 200 countries and geographical areas. So we exist in communities literally everywhere, more than even the United Nations and other organizations. And so projects, they bubble up. And we also have corporate priorities that we help to align our members behind. We have what we call 7 areas of focus. And these are things like clean water, sanitation and hygiene, literacy projects, the creation of peace, community and economic development, a focus on the environment. These are things that we help to align our members behind so that we have strength in doing things that have impact. And so, but they bubble up. Our number one corporate priority is the eradication of polio. And that was born out of one person having an idea to say, I think we can do this. And then asking and saying to like-minded individuals in their club, what do you think? Can we do this? And then now we're at a point in time where more than 30 years later, we are on the brink of eradicating this incredibly debilitating and potentially fatal disease, and 20 cases remaining in the country, the two endemic countries left, Pakistan and Afghanistan. 2 years ago, the African continent was declared wild polio virus free, a very celebratory day. But unfortunately, as many know, have seen a case now arrive in Malawi and Mozambique. And we know through science that this came vis-a-vis a strain from Pakistan. It's not an outbreak happening on the continent. We're able to contain it, take care of it, but we know where it came from. So, but it also tells us we need to be vigilant, and we need to make sure that every last child is immunized so that this disease can go away forever.
Must mean a lot for all of you then when you get to that point where you realize that all the hard work that you're putting into eradicating some of these diseases and supporting people yields results. For you personally, how do you feel whenever you chalk a success in whatever project or policy you implement?
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, I was in Pakistan, and that's where the bulk of the remaining cases are. We know right now the horrific scenes that we're seeing, the mass flooding that's going on, 33 million people having lost their homes. I walked the streets with these people, particularly frontline female health workers, and to go with them door to door to see how they're immunizing. And part of that, part of our strategy is that women are on the front line because they can go to another woman in a home, mom to mom, and say, your child needs to be immunized. And so the satisfaction of being able to see their work in action was incredibly impactful from a personal perspective. And then that opportunity to be able to say, thank you. Thank you for what they're doing. They're brave. They're heroes. We have too many cases of these women and some men that have been assassinated doing this work. And so to go out in such a brave capacity, knowing that they are essentially the foot soldiers to getting us across the finish line, it is incredibly powerful work that they're doing.
What has been your biggest challenge so far in all the capacities that you found yourself, leading and playing your role? What's been your biggest challenge?
Not enough time.
For what exactly?
Everything. There's so much going on, and representing a global organization and knowing the needs. I mean, we see the incredible needs going on across our globe right now. We see climate crisis, we see man-made disaster, we see war, we see floods, we see famine. All of this, these are all things that our members are working incredibly hard to do whatever we can. And so the time to be able to be present, to understand the scope and scale of what we do, and then communicate with everyone to make sure that we're tackling the world's most pressing challenges in very meaningful and powerful ways. So I wish there was 48 hours in a day, and not 24.
Okay, and you use all those 48 hours
absolutely.
to solve some of these problems.
Absolutely.
What brings you to Ghana, by the way? Of course, you've talked about the fact that you're here to also propagate your message even more and ensure that a lot more people buy into it. But tell me about that decision, that moment you made that decision that it is Ghana we're going to. Will that be the first African country you're visiting as president?
So this is my 21st day on the continent. And so started out in Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, and now Ghana. And then we'll be leaving and departing Tuesday evening for an event in Reykjavik, Iceland.
I see.
And so the reason that I'm here is twofold. The first part is that my home club has a connection, my home district has a connection with many different projects that have taken place in country. And so I've heard so many of these stories.
But you've never been here.
But I've never been. I needed to come and see firsthand some of the things that were going on and to meet the people that I've heard about. I've already had a chance for that to happen. The second is that in my capacity as president, I have an international aid that serves alongside and helps to organize the activities that I'm executing as president. And our aides, my husband and I, are some of our dearest friends, Brad and Marcia Howard. Brad and I served on the board together. And this is a country of great passion to him. He is a chief, actually, in the country. Yes, he is.
And in what community? Do you remember? Kokrobite, chief of Kokrobite.
He is.
Interesting.
Yes. And so when we were going to be in this region and they were joining us for a portion of this trip, he said, you absolutely must come to Ghana and see all of the wonderful works. So,
are you loving it?
You know what? It's been less than 24 hours and I'm not leaving.
Oh, you're not going? Remember, you have to be in Iceland in a few days.
You know what? They might have to wait.
They have to wait, right? What is making you enjoy being in Ghana? You've just been here for a few hours, right?
It's the people. The people are amazing. And we had a wonderful opportunity to have an audience with your president last night. 20 minutes of being able to sit. What a delightful, incredibly intelligent man. But we had a chance to talk about serious things. Certainly climate was one of the topics that we covered. But we also had some laughs, which was
Tell us
nice.
about that. We also want to laugh too. Would like to listen to what you people talked about that made you laugh so much.
You know what? I was there with Rotarians who he had relationships with, and so the ability just as people, not hierarchy, as people to sit and be able to talk with each other. It was very genuine and warm, and I think he paints a picture of what the rest of the country looks like.
Definitely.
And so, but we had meaningful conversation about events that we both will participate in the next 2 months. One, COP27, which will be taking place in Egypt. We'll both be there, and also the United Nations General Assembly, both being in New York at the same time. And so comparing some of those notes, one of the big projects that I'll be taking a delegation to COP27 on is mangrove restoration. And so when we started talking about that, he said, okay, you need to meet with this person and this person, this minister, to further some of the dialogue along, because that's something obviously that's critically important to climate, but critically important to this area and this region as well. So yes, it was a really good opportunity.
I'm looking forward to all that, you know, becoming like a manifestation of really what you're hoping you want to do. But now you're in Ghana, you've met the president. I'm sure you have the rest of the day for a lot of other activities as well. You're here for a couple of days before you leave.
Yes.
What exactly is the plan?
We are going to see a number of different things. There is a children's ward at the hospital that we're going to open and inaugurate. When we leave here, we're going to where a large polio billboard has been erected so that the public sees what it is that we're doing, and we're going to have an event taking place there. We're going into some of the rural areas to look at the water projects that are taking place. An incredible partnership between Rotary here in Ghana and USAID, $18 million since 2019, putting clean water, sanitation, and hygiene projects into rural villages where, as we all know, there are people that walk for hours, sometimes half a day, just to get some clean potable water for their family, to make sure that everyone has access to this and to suitable toilet facilities. These things are incredibly important tools to breaking the cycle of poverty, to creating education opportunities, particularly for young girls. If they're in their menstruation cycle and don't have the ability to have a place to properly use a facility, then you know what? They don't go to school. And if they don't go to school, they don't get an education. And if they don't get an education, they don't have opportunity. We see child marriage, we see young pregnancy. All of this can be moved in such a powerful way forward by the incredible work that's being done here. And I will say that while polio is our #1 corporate initiative, this project, this Clean Water Project, is the biggest investment we've made in any other project, second to our polio efforts. So this is a big thing for this country.
That's impressive. And I would entreat you to visit Ho. It's also a very popular town in the Volta region. And Daniel, I don't know if you can take that story. So there's a plan to, you know, purify the air in that city. So it's going to have the cleanest air in the country. I think we should play that story maybe. Do you have it now? Daniel, do you have it? Okay, let's take a look at it quickly. I'll pick your thoughts on this particular story. Take a look.
Ghana is recorded as the second worst in Africa, with air pollution exceeding WHO guidelines by as much as 6 times. And amongst its regions, Accra is considered the most polluted in terms of air quality. Although very little is being done to change the narrative in Accra, there are other cities working hard to improve their quality of air. Ho the capital of the Volta region perhaps is the first to outwardly take drastic steps to becoming what it terms the oxygen city.
A breath of fresh air. It's called the Oxygen City. Here at Ho in the Volta region, you're sure to get some good amount of clear, safe air to breathe. Well, it's not just a hearsay. It's been tested and proven by the Environmental Protection Agency itself.
The Environmental Protection Agency has set up 6 monitoring stations in the township from which it is able to monitor the quality of air across the city.
It's proving that it is true, it's the oxygen city. But at the initial stages, we noticed certain factors like burning, bush burning. It was contributing negatively to what we are expecting. So education went around to alert them that the oxygen city that we've been talking about, we don't want it to be a past glory. We have the Ghana standard for air quality. My device, when I access it, it can tell me what is the CO, that's carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide, or any gas that I'm looking for at that particular time, at that level, at that point, it will tell me.
But how exactly is Ho ensuring it maintains its position as the oxygen city? Divan Komla Bossen is Municipal Chief Executive of Ho.
When you apply for a permit, before you are given this permit, you are asked to plant 5 trees on your building plot, supervised by my works department and the physical planning department. We have also passed a resolution that is to become a bylaw that we will not burn electrical waste, lorry tie, and other things in town again. When you are coming to town, we will build a park where you will park your car, pick a bicycle as it is in Japan and other places, and go to the business center, the market area, so that these carbons coming from your engine and those things will reduce and will continue to enjoy the best of air in the municipality.
While these are baby steps to a great goal of becoming perhaps the world's first oxygen city, so many remains to be cleared. It includes the use of fuel in preparation or dealing with the importation of used vehicles and electrical appliances, which ideally no major city in Ghana has the power to regulate yet.
So maybe next time you're touring Ghana, why don't you stop by Ho? You're sure to have a breathtaking experience. Judith Awachitando, TV3 News, Ho, Volta Region.
What do you think of this?
I love that, the
Yeah?
Oxygen City.
Yeah.
So for us, the newest area that we focus on is the environment. Just
Okay.
2 years ago, we've made that one of our areas of focus. And so striving toward doing things that focus on how we can make our planet better. We don't have a planet B,
Yeah.
we have a planet A.
Yeah.
I do know that one of the things that we're going to be doing while I'm here is a tree planting. There is a goal for 3,000 new trees to be planted. That will be taking place. We'll be doing some of them. I believe tomorrow we're going to be doing some of the tree planting. And that is one of the ways that, making sure that deforestation being a very large part of creating, of improving upon areas where the environment has been dramatically affected. And that really speaks to the oxygen story as well. But I love that they're doing that.
I think Rotary should plug into this
I
because
love
it's a very
it.
good initiative,
I
and we're
love it.
looking forward to all that. But you ascending the throne as first female president of Rotary after 117 years, how does that impact the dynamics of inclusion and affirmative action all across the world?
Well, I think it's first and foremost a privilege and an honor to be able to do it. But I believe that I sit here as a qualified member of our organization and not because of my gender.
Yeah.
However, I'm not going to waste the opportunity to allow my gender to perhaps open doors for others. And I think that there's other young women and young men, quite honestly, that will look toward this to say, this looks different.
Yeah.
This is something that maybe I identify a little bit more with. And the strength of our organization is that we bring diverse perspective together. And so we do it through gender, we do it through race, through culture, through age. These are, when we look at things with multiple perspectives, that's how we are able to solve the world's most pressing challenges, because we're not all just looking at it as journalists or as a medical doctor or as a lawyer or as, any different vocation. We all bring something unique to how, when we sit around a table, we think, how are we going to do this? And everyone brings a different perspective. And so that's the strength of our organization. Diversity has been a core value for years and years and years for us. But this sense of inclusion and equity is very much woven into the tapestry of what we're doing right now, creating space for people to show up as their true, authentic selves.
What would you say to every Rotarian out there that's watching you? I see a lot of them are watching you on Facebook especially. They're all very glad that you're here to visit, but what would you say to them?
I guess the message that I have for them is to say thank you for their incredible leadership, for their passion, for their dedication, for being people of influence, for being people of purpose, for being people of integrity and excellence. I know that there's so much good work that lies ahead, and the fact that we're able to unite and get excited behind the things that we do, I guess the most important thing I can do is to say thank you.
Definitely, and it's all work, but we have to play as well. What do you do to unwind?
Well, when I'm not going 24/7, which is right now kind of the pace that it's at, I love to read. I like to cycle. I like to golf. I haven't been able to do that in earnest. I love to spend time with my family. I love to cook.
Okay.
That's one of the things.
What do you like to make?
You know what? Everything. I'm vegetarian, so I like to get creative. And so I find that to be very meditative. Just being in the kitchen, chopping, letting your mind sort of stray from the problems of the world or anything else, just to put on some music, dance a little bit while I'm cooking.
Oh, you like to dance as well?
I love
okay,
to
so
dance.
here we go. We're going to dance now. We're going to introduce you to very good Ghanaian music.
I love it.
And we'll see how you can move to it. Yeah?
Show me the moves.
We're going to pull up some song, one way or the other, and we'll get to dance. But before that, so when was the last time you cooked? I know you've been on the road for some 21 days.
I would say it's been about 2 months.
About 2 months?
Yeah.
Ah, what did you make?
I made a pasta dish, actually, that that is a favorite, a go-to for me. It's not a fancy dish, but I take tomatoes and oven roast them for a couple of hours so that they're just really sweet, and then toss it in with a kind of cheese that I really love, and then just sit down with a little bit.
You should invite us for lunch or dinner before you go, you know. Can we find her kitchen already? And she's going to do a lot of great things, so look out for it. And big ups to and the entire Rotary organization as well for the good work that you're doing. It's been a pleasure. Anyway, so this is TV3 New Day. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. We'll be back with some entertainment as well before we wrap up. Keep watching.